Welcome to Toffee TV, joined by Cam. Donny van der Beek has joined Everton on loan until the end of the season in a deadline day deal. It becomes Frank Lampard's first signing. Initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's a good player, technically. Obviously, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities at Manchester United. If you listen to a lot of Man United fans, they seem a little bit confused and upset at the fact that he's had not a lot of opportunities. I think he's only started 4 games this season. It is slightly concerning that 2 managers now have opted to not give him the chances that maybe some would feel he deserves. You know, Man United have got a lot of depth in that midfield, McTominay, Fred, Fernandes. They've got a lot of players in there that play in similar positions to where Donny van der Beek will play. But, you know, I don't think there's any doubt in his ability as a footballer. Lampard was impressed with him when Ajax played Chelsea in the semi-final of the Champions League. He said that. Obviously, he's shone in the Champions League for Ajax before and at international level as well. My only real sort of concern, pardon me, is he quick enough? Is he exactly the type of midfielder that we need? There's no doubt we needed a midfielder, and he definitely improves the squad in terms of his quality and his ability. Don't know whether he's exactly that profile of midfielder that I would have been targeting as a first, but having said that, he still comes in, he'd be able to play in a 3. He's got a chip on his shoulder, a little bit similar to the Damari Gray situation. He's going to want to be coming in and get his head down and prove himself. You know, not only to Everton, but to Manchester United as well. There's no buy option, I don't believe, so he goes back there in the summer either way. So he's got a point to prove, and he's doing it in very different circumstances to what he was in at Manchester United, and that is a team that need, you know, points on the board and to get out of this relegation battle that we're currently in. So it'll be interesting. I do think he's got quality. I think prior to Man United, you'd have been jumping all over Donny van der Beek coming to Everton. So, you know, there's something to be said about that. But yeah, we'll wait and see. He improves the squad, but I still think we need a Ghana-esque type of player.
No, I think you're right. Sometimes you've got to look at exactly what you need, and Everton need another midfielder who's powerful, mobile, can get about the pitch. Help our midfield out, give it legs, which it hasn't got much of, especially with Abdoulaye Doucouré being out as well, which he is for at least another 3 weeks. What Van der Beek will bring in is technical ability. I think he's good on the ball. Was very good for Ajax in their run in the Champions League. Neat and tidy on the ball. You obviously have the fear of Davy Klaassen, you know, another Ajax player who was very good for Ajax. Didn't work out. Went to Werder Bremen, done really well. Gone back to Ajax, brilliant. Back in the Dutch team, really doing really well for Ajax. And you're hoping Van der Beek will be able to make more of an impact than him. I think physically he's bigger than what Klaassen was. And you're right, he hasn't really been given a go at Manchester United for whatever reason. Maybe people would argue that United's midfield is miles better than Everton's, and therefore it's more difficult to break into that side. But it's a player, like you said, that is coming here with something to prove. This is what Everton used to do brilliantly under the likes of David Moyes. We'll get players in with something to prove.
And it'd work.
And it'd work, and maybe Everton have moved away from that. But, you know, I'm a bit like you. He's not exactly what I would have had down, what we needed. And I do have 1 or 2 concerns over, excuse me, pace and stuff, but he's a quality technical footballer, and if Lampard can have an idea of the way he wants him to play, might get the best out of him, then that's good for us. And he's at a good age.
Absolutely.
He hasn't had to move from where he's living, obviously.
He's having a baby as well, so that'll have been a big decision.
It's important to be settled off the pitch. And like you said, it's at the end of the day, it's a low risk, really, because there's no option to buy. It's not like we threw a big outlay on him. You know, he's coming here on loan for 4 months, and hopefully he can play games and help Everton get points we need. And hopefully it'll be a win-win for both. You know, he'll do well for us, and he'll do well for himself. And his idea will be, as you just rightly said, to show Manchester United that he's still got a future there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's very low risk, certainly financially. I know we've spent a little bit on a loan fee, but you know, there's no obligation to buy at the end of it. So if it doesn't work, he just goes back to Manchester United. But Van der Beek himself will be thinking, well, if this doesn't work, then where does that leave me? Because United will look at it and go, well, if he didn't work at Everton, it's not going to work in our midfield. And then he'd be looking to get a move, and other Premier League teams will look and go, well, if it didn't work at Everton, then is it going to work for us? So, as you said, I do think he'll have a chip on his shoulder, and I think he'll be wanting to come in, get his head down and prove that he can be you know, an effective Premier League midfielder, and that's exactly what we need. I do think we need somebody who's a bit more in the mould of Abdoulaye Doucouré in there as well. But technically, there's no doubting Van der Beek's ability as a player. He would probably argue, well, I haven't had a consistent enough run in the Premier League to show my ability. It's very difficult when players are getting 10 minutes off the bench here and there.
And don't forget, the way Lampard likes to play, like possession, likes your players to be able to play.
Yeah.
So it might suit him, try to get the best out of him.
Yeah,
Let's have a look at some of his stats. This is him. I actually had 175 appearances, 43 goals and 37 assists. So not bad from a midfield player. If he could bring that kind of, you know, output to Everton, then we will, you know, we'd be all over that, because we don't score a lot of goals
from midfield.
Do we? From midfield at all. And we've always needed that extra bit of creativity. His appearances at the national team as well. He's in obviously the Dutch side. 19 appearances for his country, 3 goals and 1 assist. So he is a player that breaks into the penalty area. He can get on the end of things. Everton don't have that certainly from midfield.
Yeah.
Doucouré had started the season well, but once Everton injuries hit, Benitez moved his position again, and it kind of went back to like it was under Ancelotti, which doesn't get the best out of Abdoulaye Doucouré. So Everton, the goals are dried up. Everton do need more goal output, and if he can add to those numbers that we've seen, you know, at Holland and at Ajax, then we're getting you know, we're getting an asset. But let's have a look at his numbers at United, because I think that's what a lot of people will be talking about. 50 appearances for Manchester United, 2 goals and 2 assists.
A lot of those appearances have been substitute bench appearances, though, and I've watched them for United where they've been 2-0 down, 3-0 down, whatever, and they've brought him on with 7 minutes to go, and that obviously will class as an appearance. And even, I can't remember who he scored against Watford, didn't he, when they were down, and he come back and he scored in that game. So, you know, again, those stats, certainly the Man United ones, could be slightly misleading. It's not 50 starts, and I know, as I said, from being in and around this space, and you hear a lot of different football fans, a lot of Man United fans have been jumping the gun of play Donny van der Beek, and I was listening to a United fan yesterday saying that, you know, he's almost sort of happy that Van der Beek's coming to Everton on loan, because it will give him game time that he deserves. And if this lad wasn't good enough or didn't have the ability, he wouldn't be saying that. It'd be get him out and see how he does. But, you know, look, he will improve Everton, of course he will, because he's another top quality, you know, player to add to the squad. And if Lampard is to adapt to a 4-3-3 and use that formation, it'd be interesting in the coming weeks, obviously, with Doucouré's injury, who plays alongside them in that 3. Obviously, we've been linked with Dele Alli today. I would love Gana Gueye back, but it's very unlikely, but I just think it'd be amazing. But if everybody was fit, you would assume it'd be Alan, Doucouré and Van der Beek, and it'd be interesting to see where his role lies within that, because as we've said, Doucouré has done his best work going forward, and you attribute him as a box-to-box midfielder who is exceptionally good in the opposition box when he gets chances.
But because obviously we're moving from 2 different style of managers, obviously Rafa Benitez was very much, you know, don't take any risks, don't, you know, leave holes, which, you know, Everton should have really been drawing games 0-0 for fun.
Yeah, we didn't take any risks. But
no, there's no risks, and we were letting goals in. Whereas what we know from what we've seen from Frank Lampard so far is everything's that way. Yeah. Okay, we have got to sort this way out, but so therefore, if Alan was to sit, and I know that isn't his best position, he likes to go hunting around as well. He likes to be an 8 as well, but needs must. We ain't got that number 6 in our squad. So therefore, if Doucouré is bombing on and Van der Beek is bombing on, then that creates more opportunities, more goals. Yes, there needs to be an element of discipline somewhere from one of them. If you go, I'll stay or whatever, or you know, wait for what arises. But that might get the best out of him, maybe, both of them, him and Decore, in a three. Certainly what Derby County had, they had Mason Mount bombing forward in that kind of formation. You have to have players who want to get in the box. You know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we've got in Dom, we've got a great foil for midfielders like Van der Beek getting forward. We've got, you know, Richarlison maybe on one side, Damari Gray on the other side, Anthony Gordon, El Ghazi, Townsend. You know, all of a sudden you go, well, you know what? There's loads of options there for Everton, loads. It's about if he can knit it all together. That's the key thing. And someone like Donny van der Beek, who's got technical ability, who can pick a pass, who can break from midfield, maybe that's what Everton need. Someone who can take the ball in tight areas and he's comfortable enough. I mean, it's very much what Ajax are brought up on, that kind of ability. I don't think he's someone who's going to go round 7 men and bend one in from 35 yards, but busy, get it, pass it, get it,
right
pass
as well.
it.
That's what we need. We need somebody that in a pressured situation, a midfielder that's going to keep the ball and just calm it down. And Gomez has been good at doing that coming off the bench and at times this season, but Gomez for me off the ball just isn't, just never in the game. He doesn't. I don't know whether he doesn't work hard enough or he's just incapable of doing the work that he needs to do. But we've seen a couple of times over the years when Gomez has been asked to do that and we've been under a bit of pressure, puts his foot on the ball, passes it out and just calms everything down. And I think Van der Beek will be able to do that as well as I said, provides another body going forward and he's definitely got ability and he will want to work hard. He won't be coming in thinking, just get by for another 6 months and then see what happens. He'll be getting in thinking, I need to impress here, I need to show. You know, look at how much Gomez impressed when he was on loan for the first time. Typically loan players, and touch wood, typically loan players impress more because they've got a point to prove. They've got, you know, they haven't got a contract guaranteed. He'll know United aren't particularly fussed anyway. He was going to Palace if Everton Everton didn't come in. So
World Cup year as well. So again, he's got that point to prove, and he'll definitely be a welcomed addition to the side. And he also had strength and depth as well. You know, there's options that Lampard can play in different formations and different styles, and Van der Beek will be a part of that. You know, again, I think he's a good player, certainly technically a good player. It'd be interesting to see how he works, but I'd still like that physical, quick, nimble centre midfielder that I don't think Van der Beek is. But, you know, maybe Lampard is looking at it thinking, well, we won't need that type of player if we can get enough quality in the likes of Van der Beek and Decore. So it's going to be interesting to see, but, you know, Donny van der Beek is signed on loan till the end of the season. We wish him well. Hopefully he'll come in and absolutely kill it for Everton, be excellent. And then we'll have a decision to make if he does really well in the summer. Let's hope that is up for discussion in the summer.
Well, if it is, then it's done well,
gone well, so fingers crossed. Let us know what you think in the comments section below about Donny van der Beek. Can he rediscover his Ajax form for Everton? Can he make an impression on the Blues and help us to the calmer waters of mid-table or whatever it is? Because at the moment, we are definitely got sharks circling around us. There you go. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and if you want more videos, join us on Patreon. See you later.